Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's market fundamental breakdown. My name is Anthony Phillips Njoko, the founder of 10x Digital Link, and today we'll be talking about the fundamental breakdown for the time period of 16th of June to 20th of June. Okay, so if this is your first time, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share this content with your family. Okay, so over here now, this is Monday, and in about 49 minutes time, by 1:30 p.m. West African time, we have the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index. So this manufacturing index has to do with the total amount of manufactured products in the United States of America. So we see a figure that is more like higher than minus 5.5%. Is good for dollar to make the dollar strong. When we see a figure lower than minus 5.5% to make the dollar weak. Then early tomorrow morning by 4 a.m. we have the JPY interest rate decision. Okay, so they want to keep interest rates unchanged. If they keep interest rates unchanged, it's going to make Japanese yen strong. But if they cut interest rates, it's going to make Japanese yen weak. Why to make Japanese yen strong is because interest investors are currently earning on each yen loaned to the government, okay, is 0.5% if they bought bonds, okay. But if you cut interest rates, the yield from those bonds will be lesser, which will make investors to pull out and go to other currencies that will give higher yields. So that's why if they leave it unchanged, it's going to strengthen the Japanese yen by 4 a.m. West African time tomorrow. Then as well, we see the Euro Economic Sentiment Index early in the morning by 10 a.m. West African time. Okay, so this index, it has to do with the sentiment. Are they optimistic about the economy or are they pessimistic? So this is for Germany to be precise. So by 10, if you see a figure higher than 35, it is good for Euro. If you see a figure lower than 35, it is bad for Euro. But for now, this is a good sentiment because the previous is 25.2 and the consensus is 35. So the market is working with the consensus before the actual is out. So 35 is higher than 25.3. So it's going to give you strength. And as you can see, this is a very, very important high impact news by 10 a.m. on Tuesday, 17 June. Then we have on New York session, retail sales year over year for the dollar, retail sales month over month for the dollar, retail sales ex auto month over month for the dollar, retail sales ex gas slash auto month over month, and then retail sales control group month over month. The one we look out for mainly is the retail sales month over month and retail sales year over year. Every other one here is a derivative of this. Derivative means that whatever data this gives is going to derive a similar but not exact figure for this particular one. But everything depends on the month over month, and the month over month transcends to the year over year. So by 1:30 p.m. tomorrow, if we see a figure higher than minus 0.7, it is good for the dollar. But if we see a figure lower than minus 0.7, it is bad for the dollar. Then the same thing with the year over year. Last year was 5.2% retail sales as at for May. Okay, so this year they're saying that it might be 4.9. If that happens, dollar should be weak. But if we get a figure higher than 4.9, like uh 5 or 5.5, it's going to make the dollar to be strong. Investors will be very happy with the economy of the US because their retail sales are going up. Okay, so then on Wednesday, June 18th, 2025, we have the balance of trade for the Japanese yen early in the morning. Okay, this balance of trade now has to be total imports minus total exports. If there is no export in a country, it is good for the country's strength. But if there is more import, it is bad for the country's strength. So here you have minus 893 billion yen. Okay, as at for May, they are expecting to be minus 893 billion yen. Okay, so if you see a figure higher than minus 893 billion yen, it is good for the yen. Okay, because due to the tariffs and the trade wars going on, it really affected the export quantity of the yen. So if there is more exports, there will be what internal revenue for Japanese yen, and their balance of trade will be positive instead of negative. But due to that, there have been negative exports because of the tariff issues. We are seeing a negative what rate here, minus 893 billion yen. Then we have the Great Britain pound inflation rate year over year. Great Britain pound inflation rate year over year. So for this Great Britain pound inflation rate year over year, this is what it means. It's coming by 7 a.m. West African time for London. Inflation rate. Inflation has to do with the increase of products and services. Okay. So last year of May against this year of May, this is 3.5% for last year. They're expecting this year to be 3.4. If this happens, Great Britain pound should be weak by 7 a.m. on Wednesday. But if you see a figure higher than 3.4%, should make Great Britain pound to be strong. Then by 10 a.m. as well, we have Euro Central CPI, also known as inflation. This is for the month of May. So this is the figure, the previous month, which is April, is 128.77. They are expecting May to be 128.73. If you see a figure higher than 128.73, it is good for Euro. But if you see a figure lower than 128.73, it is bad for Euro. Then to continue, for New York session, we have the home stats. Okay, home stat has to do with those buildings in US that has already started construction for May. Okay, so the previous month of April is 1.361 million, and expecting by May that the total amount of house that the building has started already, they have started the foundation, they have started pouring cement, started putting in blocks, okay, is 1.36 million, okay. Then if you see a figure higher than 1.36 million, okay, it is good for dollar. A lower figure is bad for dollar. Then we have building permit. Building permit has to do with the documentation received by the government that you can now go ahead and start building on a particular land or continue development on a particular structure. That's what the building permit is. Sometimes you can be building and the government will come and revoke your permit to build or continue construction because of one or two paperwork or fees that you are not able to pay. So if you're able to clear all those fees and you start building, it is good because you're providing either house for shelter, house for business, or house for whatever it could be. Okay, so it is good for the economy. So yeah, they're saying for April they had 1.422 million building permits. So for May they're expecting to be 1.43 million building permits. If you see a figure higher than 1.43 million, okay, building permit is good for dollar. But if you see a figure lower than 1.43 million, it is bad for the dollar. That's for May. Okay. Then we have the continuous jobless claims 4 week average, initial jobless claims. Okay, so all these jobless claims has to do with those who have come to the government of the United States and say we don't have a job, we need jobless claims benefits. They will get their sack letter from their former employee and send it to the government, and the government is going to verify that they actually worked for this duration and then grant them jobless claims benefits, okay, while they look for another job. So these jobless claims now, the one that is actually very, very important is what this initial jobless claims. It has to do with a new filings for this weekend. Okay, on the 14th, this was the one that was filed. Okay, on Saturday. Those who just said I don't have job as at on Saturday and uploaded their documents on the government portal. This is for June 14th. Okay. So if you see a figure, they expect the last one of June 7th. The upper Saturday is 248K. They're expecting it to be 245K. So if you see a figure higher than 245K, it is bad for dollar. If you see a figure lower than 245K, it is good for dollar. We don't want much people to be saying they don't have jobs. Okay. We want lesser people to say they don't have jobs. So if lesser people say they don't have jobs, it is good for the currency. Then continue jobless claim, the same thing. You see over here we have 1940K. So if you see a figure lower than 1940K, it is good for dollar. A higher figure is bad for dollar. But for this Thursday, this is not even going to be the main driver of the market. The main driver of the market is going to be by 7 p.m. West African time. Okay, that what is that? It is the Fed interest rate decision. What is Fed interest rate? It has to do with the interest paid by the CBN or the Federal Reserve of the US to investors who are holding their bonds. Okay, a certain time last year, China was one of the biggest holders of bonds in the US, but after Trump came in and came up with these tariff issues, China have been selling their bonds. Okay, the US bonds, and other countries have been buying the bonds. So if you are an investor in US and you buy bonds, you're meant to be earning 4.5% of those bonds you buy from the US government. Okay, guaranteed. This one is you're loaning your money to the government. Okay, and the only way that they will not be paid is if the government collapse. Okay, so this interest rate decision now is very important, and over time the Fed has been saying that they are going to cut interest rates if they see that inflation rate is dropping. And from the last week results, we saw that inflation rate actually dropped. When I say inflation rate, inflation rate has to do with the price of products and services actually dropped, it actually reduced. Okay, so with that in mind, there is chances that interest rate is also going to be reduced, and the Feds are working towards it. Okay, so by 7 p.m. on Thursday, this is the main driver. Probably by 1:30, any news that comes out from the jobless claims is not going to actually move the market, or even the housing permit is not going to move the market. But what's going to actually move this market is by uh, 7 p.m. And if this interest rate is left unchanged, it's going to make the dollar strong. It's going to make the dollar strong, and then dollar is going to buy against every other currency. Okay, so watch out for that. Then that's for Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we have employment change for Australia by 2:30 a.m. and unemployment rate for Australia by 2:30 a.m. So the unemployment and employment change are similar, but we'll look out more for the unemployment rate. If you see a figure higher than 4.1%, it is bad for AUD. A figure lower than 4.1%, it is good for AUD. Then early in the morning by 8:30 a.m. for Swiss franc, we have the interest rate decision for Swiss franc as well. So over here now, the current interest rate is 0.25%, and they're saying that they will cut interest rate by 0.25%. If they cut interest rate by 0.25%, interest rate in Swiss is going to come down to zero. And if this happens, Swiss franc should be weak that day because they are cutting their interest rate. So dollar should buy against Swiss franc, continuing the massive buys. Okay, because investors is going to pull out money from Swiss to take it to where they can earn higher interest, like Great Britain or dollar. That's the two countries that have very high interest rates right now. Then you see over here as well, we have Great Britain interest rate decision for that day. They're leaving the interest rate decision at 4.25% on Thursday. This is by 12 p.m. West African time. So if this happens, Great Britain pound should be strong against every other currency. Then on Friday, we have the inflation rate year over year, okay, for June 20th, 2025. And if this inflation rate year over year turns out as intended, this has to do with inflation, the increase of products and services, okay, and it's happening by 12:30 a.m. Okay, so if you see a figure higher than 3.6%, it is good for Japanese yen. But if you see a figure lower than 3.6%, it is bad for Japanese yen. Then early in the morning on Friday, we have the retail sales X4 month over month, retail sales X4 year over year, retail sales year over year, retail sales month over month for Great Britain pound, all happening by 7 a.m. Okay. So over here now, if we come over here where we have the X4 month over month, that's do with sales of goods and services. Okay, if there is higher sales, it is good for the country. If there is lower sales, it will be bad for the country. X sales month over month and year over year is a derivative of what the main retail sales month over month and year over year. So we're looking out for the month over month. If you see a figure higher than -0.6%, it is good for Great Britain pound. If you see a figure lower than -0.6%, it is bad for Great Britain pound. Then also we have retail sales year over year. If you see a figure higher than 1.5%, it is good for Great Britain pound. If you see a figure lower than 1.6%, it is bad for Great Britain pound. The same applies for Canada because during New York session, we see Canada also has retail sales X auto month over month, retail sales year over year, retail sales month over month for April, and retail sales month over month for May. Okay, all these figures are coming out that day. So if you see a figure higher than every other figure, yeah, it is good for card. But if you see a figure lower than it, it is bad for card. Thank you so much for watching to this point. If you're interested to learn more on how to actually trade fundamental analysis only, because there are traders who are very good with technical trading, which has to do with just support and resistance or following the trend, uptrend, downtrend, or sideways trend. There are traders that are definitely good with that, but there are traders that just focus mainly on fundamental events. Institutional traders just focus mainly on fundamental events. And from my research from the Market Wizards book, once you're a very good fundamental trader, you can always make 1000% of your capital with just one good high impact news. Okay, because all these type of opportunities don't always come like the way technical opportunities come. high impact news opportunities can come just five in a year. And whenever those five comes, you want to always go in with massive leverage to be able to utilize the information you know, the ideology you have, and be able to make massive profits. Okay. But for technical trades, okay, I already dropped the technical analysis. Okay, just click the link over here to be able to watch the technical video, okay, or go to the description. If you also want to learn about how to trade, okay, the technical fundamental, also learn how to read the chart, okay, how to be able to create a broker account, fund a broker account, withdraw from broker account, and be able to tell what the chart wants to do and when to do. Okay, so you just go to our website www.tenexdigitallink.com. Okay, here we're going to actually give you insight into our course. In our course, you can be able to gain access to the basic down to the advanced level of trading. Okay, so you just need to go to our website www.tenexdigitallink.com to grab this opportunity and be able to start learning how to trade very well. Then as well, if you want to grab any other product, like you want to join us on our WhatsApp, our free WhatsApp group, our Telegram group, our LinkedIn page, our Twitter page, you can click on the link tree. The link tree is going to be also on the description. Over here, you can see link to our store. In our store, you can get access to our course as well, our Signal group, our bots, and our textbook as well. Then over here, you can schedule a meeting as well with this link tree. You can able to schedule a meeting, register with our recommended broker, HFM, XNES, and we're currently working with a new broker to be able to offer that to you, but we have not actually verified the system very well. When we're done, we'll be able to offer that to you, and then you'll be able to benefit from it. Then as well, we have different channels here. For the crypto is Tenex Digital in Telegram, but Forex is Forex Made Easy Telegram group. Okay, so you just have to go there and choose LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Just follow us there, and then you're going to get the necessary information you need. Why on our store we have the seller.com/, click to cart store. Okay, on that store, that's where you see all our bots, or our textbook, or our signal link to be able to join our signal group, or the VIP signal group. In the VIP signal group, you'll be able to gain access to our daily analysis session. So this it's all found inside our seller.com website. Okay, so the link is going to be on the description as well. And I'll be waiting for you to reach out for me for any questions. If you have any questions, drop it on the comment section. If you need any help, drop it on the comment section as well. I will be able to give you the right information to help you take responsibility and control your trading journey. Thank you so much for your time and your efforts. Like you know, my name is Anton Phillips Njoku, the founder of Tenet Digital, and I'm always here to offer you guys the right knowledge, offer you guys the right guidance, and also the right tools to enable you trade the financial market very well.